Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 37 of What If Naruto had multiple people sealed inside of him. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto was neglected by everyone and enjoy that. And over on Anime King 2, I post a new episode of What If Naruto was a vampire, so go ahead and enjoy it as well guys. And I also create a new episode of What If Izuna Uchiha was Naruto's ancestor, so go ahead and enjoy it as well guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support guys. And also comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their
So the last time we left off, the explosion was all an illusion. Naruto and the others already know from a long while back, as Obito thought that he got away with everything, killing the full hens. But he was surprised when Eva turned out to be the white Zetsu as she used her transformation to turn into him. It was all a trick, as the full hen members trapped both him and Naruto, as they were in a dome that cut off all power of the Sharingan, as Naruto has been working on this for a long time now, as he was finally successful. As Naruto broke the mask and got information on the masked man, to reveal that he wasn't even Madara, he was Obito Uchiha, as Naruto said that he wouldn't let Kakashi go through all this guilt, as he then took care of Obito. The battle was not really that hard, seeing that he wasn't able to use his power to make anyone fade right through him, and Naruto had these combination eyes, as Naruto destroyed him. But Naruto didn't kill him, but he made him immobilized as he took off his hands and his legs, as Naruto took him in his mindscape, trapping him in one of the crystals. Seeing that everything was coming to an end, the Akatsuki was over, Naruto decided to finish up his missing pieces, as he still had his lock on Kabuto. So he found Orochimaru, as Naruto took care of Orochimaru and blew up the entire place. All of the stone ninjas were incinerated in a blast. We then had a time skip, as the entire Full Hen members, all of them were there, as Naruto was about to combine the Master Key. But something strange happened when he combined all the pieces. A huge white light struck, as Tsunade asked what the hell is that. It was the Light Maker, as he had long hair with black eyes, black light night, no pupil or nothing inside of them. He told them that he sealed away piece of his soul piece in the key fragment, and now that he was able to be in there for so long, he has bonded with it. It is now a part of him. He had all that power, and also all of the Kyubis turned into pure chakra as he sucked them inside himself, merging them with him, giving him another limitless amount of power. As the first thing he did was to kill Negi, seeing that he was a big reason why he was trapped for so long in the first place. As he then started to slaughter most of the members, Naruto told the rest of them to run, as Naruto went 100% as he flew up in the air and released all of his spells, everything, on the Light Maker. But he was surprised when the man was still standing there, with some kind of aura shield around him, as he told Naruto if it wasn't for him, the world would have probably exploded by all those spells. But as his gratitude for Naruto reforming the key, he didn't kill Naruto as he opened an endless void and blew Naruto straight into it. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch across place and check it out for yourself, so let's start this new episode. We start this episode at Konoha, 5 years has passed since Naruto was sent in the empty void. 5 long years. As Konoha was in ruins. When I mean ruins, I mean just ruins. There was no tall building or anything. There was no sign of life. The place was wiped out. The Fuhen compound was flat, like it was disintegrated by some attack. It wasn't just Konoha. As we go to the stone village, which was also destroyed, no sign of life. The cloud village, all of them, even the smaller villages, each and every one of them was in ruins. Not even a single people in those villages, just pure darkness and silent. As for where the remaining people are, in the center, in the exact center of the world, there was a floating village. It was much huger than each nation. The people were walking on the street. Each of them were wearing black. Every single person was wearing black. When you look into their eyes, you see no hope. Nothing. It was just emptiness. Most of them was broken beyond repair. Even though this place was not. It was not ruins like the other villages. This place had many houses, many buildings. But people walked with such lifeless eyes. There was a giant tower that seemed to lead straight up to the clouds. We currently have 5 people in black walking up to the tower, but their clothing was rather different from the others. On the back of their clothing, the word advisors was there. These 5 people were none other than the previous Kages. This world doesn't have Kages anymore, that is why I say previous. As Tsunade was walking, as she was looking ahead, her eyes seemed lifeless and hopeless. Her blonde hair no longer shined, it was just dull. The Raikage, he was missing an arm. On his other arm, his pinky finger was gone. As the man wasn't bulky again, he had slimmed down. Gaara was next to them. The kanji on his forehead for love, it was gone, and it was replaced with the kanji for lap dog. And beside him was Oniki. Oniki was slowly making his way, as he had multiple scars all over his face, like someone literally brought a blade to his face and kept on slicing him and healing him to the point where scars would remain. Beside him was Mei Terumi, who looked even more broken. She had an X on her forehead, like someone carved it in there. She looked like she has been through a lot. As the 5 of them made their way to the tower, when they got there, they came across 2 giant doors. As Tsunade stepped forward and knocked. "Come in," said a voice. As they stepped inside to see the Light Maker, sitting down on his throne. His appearance has changed as well. His hair was now short, reached to about his shoulder. His eyes were no longer black like night. They were blue, ocean blue. He had a smile on his face. "So, how is the monthly report going? How is everything going around in the village?" "Tsunade," he said. Tsunade stepped forward. "King," she said. As, from now on, they were only able to call him King. He has renamed himself the King of this world, but to make it shorter, they just called him King. "Everything is going good in my section. The people have been behaving. They continue to worship your name, as it is." "As we must worship our Lord King's name," she said, as she gave a bow. "Good," he said. "Raikage," as Raikage stepped forward. "My king," he said, as he kneeled. "Everything has been going good in my section as well. The people continue to praise your name." "Music to my ears," said the king. "Oniki." "My lord," Oniki said as he kneeled. "Everything is going good in my section as well. People continue to praise your name every day." As he nodded. "Gaara." "My lord," Gaara said. "Everything is going good in my section as well. They continue to praise and bless your name." "Me?" "Yes, my lord," as she stepped forward. Things are going great in my section. As for the same as the others, they continue to praise and bless your name, my king. As he smiled, it's good to be the king, he said. As he then looked beside him, as he lowered his hand and petted someone on the head. Chained up on his throne was Eva. As Eva looked so lost, she wasn't being controlled or anything, she was just broken. After 5 years, things has really changed. And to his left was Chao, the only two members remaining of the Fu Hen clan. As the king makes sure that all of the others suffered, but these two was a major problem in his plan in the old days. So he kept them around, whether it's for pleasure or to just torture them. As both Chao and Eva were chained up, right beside his throne. Alright, my advisors, your monthly report has done. Now go back. Get out of my palace, he said. Your filth disgusts me. As all of them nodded, my king, they said, as they slowly walked away. He then placed his hand on Chao's head. It's pleasure time, he said, as he slowly zipped down his pants. As Chao just moved forward, she showed no hesitation as her head started to go up and down. As the light maker released a heavy sigh. You can rest for today, Eva. I won't be needing any pleasure from you. As Eva just gave a small nod. After a couple of minutes, he kicked her away, but the chain on her neck dragged her back as she started to cough. Go wipe yourself up, you filth, he said, as he snapped his finger and the chain vanished. As he walked away, as Chao just walked away as well. As Eva just sit there. Things has gone bad for the worse over the last 5 years. The ninjas, all that opposed him, who thought that he wasn't such a big of a threat, he slaughtered them all, without any effort. Kakashi, Jiraiya, Asuma, Kurenai, all of them. He just killed all of them. Every Fu Hen member was electrocuted over and over for days. Eva would hear their screams. He locked her up in a spear as she had to watch and hear their voice. When she closed her eyes, the voice echoed in her head. He then stabbed swords through their body over and over just to watch them suffer, while healing them at the same time, making their pain unimaginable as he would sit down and use his magic to control the swords as he just watched all of them getting stabbed and stabbed all over again until he was bored of them. He slowly tear their body apart as each and every one of them felt cold, unimaginable pain. He ripped out their fingernails, ripped out their hair as he literally pulled them apart, their eyelash, their eyeballs, everything. And he laughed while doing all of this. He just told them that that's for making him suffer for so long in the key fragment. As Eva had given up all hope, she tried to fight him. Everything she threw at him, he just take them all head on. He had sliced off both of her arms and her legs, leaving her like that for 10 months, trapping her so she couldn't die, while he jammed a giant needle in her chest that processed food into her body, well, mostly blood, just to keep her alive so she wouldn't dry up. After 10 months was over, he gave them back to her, saying that if she ever goes up against him again, he will make it much worse. But she still tried to attack him again. She still had a small hope as she had rallied some rebellion troops, but he slaughtered all of them. He then created 10 giant black wolves as they tore Eva apart, but he had some kind of dome around her. The dome make it so she can't die. Even when the wolves rip her to pieces, her body would just reform. They would eat her eye, tear her body apart, but doesn't matter what happened, she wouldn't die. She went through that for 2 years And that broke her spirit. She couldn't take it anymore. She was crying. She cried and begged. She told him that she will never go against him again. And from that day on, she never did. As she didn't want to go through that ever again. As he made it drag on for long, 2 years, even when she had begged him to stop. In the first week. She thought she could take it, but she couldn't. She had given up all hope of Naruto ever coming back and saving them. And even if he did, he didn't have the power to match the king. As she then saw Cho came back. Cho even have it worse than her. She doesn't even know if Cho has a mind anymore. She tried to talk to her, but Cho didn't even speak. She was only speaking when the light maker talked to her. As he had dropped her in acid, her body disintegrated and reformed. For 3 years, as Eva had to watch Cho scream. Until she stopped screaming, her body would disintegrate and she just stood there. The pain was unimaginable, but she stood there, just taking it, because she couldn't. Her spirit and her mind was broken. And after that, he turned the both of them into his special lap dogs. He used them for pleasure, anything he wants, the most disgusting things. But the both of them are broken. It's not like they really feel anything anymore. All the nation has combined. He has destroyed each and every village. When he first went around, talking to everyone, they thought it was a joke. But when he described his power and showed them, he started to slaughter the commoners. Any civilians he saw on the streets. The Raikage, the Tsuchikage, the Mizukage, the Kazekage, all of them sent their strongest troops. But he just cut each and every one of them down, showing them that they're no match for him. Kushina was leading a small rebellion group from Kumo. Things were so tragic that even she turned to Kumo. Even after they tried to kidnap her many years ago when she was younger, she had to turn to them. When he found out about this, and they tried to take a stand against him, he rained acid on Kumo for days. The acid was burning through people's skin, but he had his dome up. A giant dome around Kumo. So every time it teared through your skin, or you would die or something, you would just come back. And the process would go over and over again. He did this for months. On the Stone Village, he rained down lightning. Lightning would zap people at any random moment, frying their body. And then they would just come back. At Kiri, needles would rain from the sky. No one could escape because of the dome, as they get pierced over and over again. But he took the worst out on Konoha when he put that dome around the village, so that no one could die without his permission. He rained lava from the sky. But not just lava. He messed with all of their minds. He did it while the lava was burning and incinerating them, and they would come back. He made them saw a new hero come and killed him, and all of their life was back to normal. He did this for months. He then broke the illusion, bringing the people back into the world. And he did it all over again, wiping their minds so they wouldn't remember that it was all an illusion. And he had control over life and death. And because of him, as Eva looked over the sea, the Shinigami on the ground, chains tied up all around his body, he was pinned to the ground. His cloak, his sight was on the wall. A huge chain was on his neck, pinning him down. As even he had stopped moving over the years. He just lay there still. He doesn't desire food or anything, so he doesn't talk, he doesn't even say anything. The Light Maker summoned the Shinigami to this world. The Shinigami tried his best to go up against him with his staff, to tear through his soul. But the Light Maker reversed the process. The staff smashed into pieces the moment he touched the Light Maker, as he started to beat the crap out of the Shinigami. That wasn't even supposed to be possible. He was a god of death. But he seemed like the Light Maker transcends death and gods and all that. This world now belonged to him. And no one, absolutely no one can stop him. As Eva's thoughts were broken, when the Light Maker finally returned, he saw Eva looking at him. as a dagger appeared in his hand, as he drive it right in her eye. Eva didn't scream or anything, as she just took the pain. Huh. You guys are too broken, he said as he pulled out the dagger. He then held his hand over her, as a white light in her eye reformed. Eva just stood there, as she just looked out of space. One thought was on her mind. One word. Naruto, she said. Meanwhile, Naruto was currently lying down in a bed, as all of the Fuhen girls surrounded him. He was happy, with a smile on his face, as the Kyuubi walked over and kissed him on the forehead. Good morning, she said. Good morning, Kyuubi-chan, Naruto said. It's good to see you. As the Kyuubi then started to laugh. Idiot. Remember, she keep on saying. Remember what, said Naruto, as her face then turned black. As black ink started to leak from her face. The same thing happened for the other girls. As Naruto jumped out of bed. What is going on, he said, as he rushed towards the exit, but the door vanished. As blackness consumed the place. As Naruto snapped back to reality, his hands were shaking. His eyes seemed like he hasn't slept for years. They were bloodshot red, not because of anger or anything, just because of sleep deprived. This world that he was in tortured him if he sleep. He couldn't take it anymore. He tried to off himself, but he couldn't die. No matter what he did, this void was unbearable. He was lost. No matter what he did, nothing happened. He was just floating. He still had all of his power. The only person he saw in years ago, was Conan. He managed to open a dimension. He finally thought that he was going to go home safe. But he saw Conan there. As the thought came to him, he remembered what Tsunade said, that Conan was trapped. As he tried to reach out to her and call her, she got up and started to run towards him. But he then realized she would end up in the void as he tried to stop her, but her body was pulled towards him. It was then black vines break from the ground and grab her and start to pull her underneath. He tried to cut the vines with anything, but everything would just reflect and boom away or something. As he tried to go in his dimension, but there was a barrier there. He couldn't go in. He couldn't leave this place. Even though he had all of his powers, he tried many times to do his strongest spell to destroy this void, but nothing happened. He was stuck. His body, his mind, his soul has been broken. He has given up a long time ago. But he still couldn't sleep. Every time he sleep, this place would take advantage of that. They would put him through traumas. He would see all of his friends and everyone, and it would be like so real, like an illusion that was real to the point that he could feel everything. But then, everyone would start to laugh at him and mock him. Sometimes they hunt him down for a sport and kill him. Sometimes he returned back to when he was young, and the people of Konoha kill him over and over again. So he just stopped sleeping overall. But even though he tried, he couldn't. Sometimes he would fall asleep, like just for a second ago, and that black void took advantage of him. As Naruto let out a scream, as his scream just echoed in the place and vanished. As he was floating in the void, nothing, absolutely nothing, he thought. As he couldn't even kill himself, which he tried. He tried that 2 years ago, when this place finally broke him. Could you imagine? Uzumaki Naruto Fuhen, Namikaze, this place, made him turn to suicide. But he did. But he couldn't kill himself, his body would just reform. He thought that he died, but his eyes would just open back. Nothing he do would help. He wouldn't die. He then heard a voice, as he wondered if he was going crazy and just hearing voices again. But this voice, it sounded like it was genuine, as he smacked himself a few times to see if it was real. As he started to drift over towards the voice, as he started drifting even more as the voice became louder and louder. Meanwhile, back at the shinobi world, the proud king was walking through the streets with a smile on his face. When people see him, they bow on their knees. As he was walking, he saw a woman with her child. The woman quickly got on her knees, but the child just looked at him, the impassive look on his face. He walked over there as the woman started to tremble. "Why aren't you bowing, my child?" he said. As the boy looked at him. "Bowing?" he said. The boy was just 3 years old. As, even though his mother had tried to teach him the ways of the world now, the boy was still too young to understand everything completely. "Please forgive him, my king. He doesn't understand. I'm begging you, spare him." The king smiled. "You should know already," he said. "I don't give second chances. Incinerate." As he placed his hand on the boy's shoulder, the boy then started to cry out in pain, as from his head and his toes started to burn with flames, as the flames combined in the center of his chest. There was nothing there anymore. The woman started to cry, but she didn't let her noise be heard, as she accidentally sniffled. The king looked at her as he looked down, as he pointed 2 fingers at her, as a lightning came from his fingertips, a lightning bolt that struck her right through the heart. He then placed his hand over her body as he turned into ash, as a smile was on his face all the time. People didn't even look, they just walked by. He then removed something from his robe. It was a container, some kind of a jar. As he opened it, as 2 white substances fly inside of it. If you look very closely, it was the boy and the woman. Their faces. "Your souls belong to me," he said. As the both of them looked terrified as he closed the jar. As he kept on his walk. As he was looking around the place that he had created, he was so happy that he came to this world. This world was now all his, and there was no one around to stop him. Meanwhile with Naruto, he was hearing voices all over, as he was wondering what the hell was going on, as he was cursing and looking around. He was hearing a lot of voices. For the first time in years, he saw something that made his eyes go wide. A white door appeared. He rushed towards the door as he went to open it, but he stopped. Could this be just a trick? An illusion to mess with his mind? But he had to take it as he pulled the door. When he pulled it, a sword drove right through his heart. As, standing there, was his own mother with a smile on her face. He really thought that he would get away. "My precious son," she said, as she pulled out the sword and stomped right in his face, as she then drove it down, as Naruto blacked out. When he woke up back, he was in the center of the void again. "Ah, we tricked you again," said a voice. Nothing wasn't really there, but Naruto's imagination, it has created friends, as he thought the darkness was actually a beam that existed. "So you did," said Naruto. "So are you going to keep playing these stupid tricks on me?" "Well, when you were bored," said the voice. "But you should know, there is a way to get out of here." "Screw you," said Naruto. "I'll stay." "No, we're not joking. There is a way to get out of here." "Yeah, there is," said another deeper voice. "You just have to look closely." As Naruto snapped his eyes open, as he was still floating in the void. As he was just floating and feeling everything, which was nothing at the same time. It was like he was in a constant state of movement and staying exactly still. As he looked over to his left, he then saw something. It was static, like a shock something. He then saw a rift start to form, but he turned his head, as he wasn't even going to look at that, thinking that it was fake. But he heard talking coming from the rift. "Leave me alone," he said, as he fired off a spell. A massive fireball that teared right through the rift. It went through, as Naruto saw light. He never saw light in this place before. As he slowly drifted towards it, it seems like he is aware of our presence. Well, he should, said a voice. It's been a long time. We've finally gotten into this place. Hey, brat! Get the hell out here, said the voice. As Naruto flew towards the drift, he was surprised when his body was disintegrated up to his feet going up to his head. But this was something good for a change. His body reformed outside as he was lying on the grass. He was looking up in the sky as he saw 10 orbs, like moons, but they were much smaller. They were floating in the sky. Each of them had a kanji on it, some weird letter that he did not understand. As Naruto wondered where the hell is he, as he looked around. Hey, get up, said a voice, as he turned to his left to see a woman. She had long white hair. She looked like she was in her mid-20s. She had beautiful white eyes, almost like the Byakugan. As she gave Naruto a smile. Finally, we found you, she said. As beside her was a man. He was dressed in all black. On his back he had 2 long swords, as he had an X on his cheek. Ah, finally, he said as he extended his hand towards Naruto. Naruto looked at his hand. Illusion, leave me alone, said Naruto. The man grabbed Naruto by his throat and punched him in the stomach. You think this is a damn illusion, he said? Snap out of your funk. As Naruto looked around, he was in a grassy field. There was nothing else but the 2 of them. As they gave him a smile. What's going on, Naruto asked. We freed you, idiot. It took us a long while, but we did it. Who are you, Naruto asked. Well, my name is Rayman, said the man. Sorry for punching you earlier, but I needed you to get it through your head that we're not illusions. Enough talking, Rayman. Nice to meet you. My name is Elizabeth, she said with a smile. Who are you, Naruto asked. We just told you that, said Elizabeth. I meant, who are you people? What are you doing here? And how am I here? Well, we've been working on this for 5 years, but we finally managed to get through that bastard void and get you out of there. You mean I'm free? Said Naruto. Yes, said Elizabeth. Send me back, said Naruto. What? Said Rayman. Are you... Oh, I get it. You're having side effects from being in there so long. No, I don't want to go back to Earth. If I do, I'll just suffer some even worse fate. I can't beat him. Whoa. He really messed with you bad. I can't believe it. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze Fuhen. He has broken you. He really made the Light Maker broke you, said Elizabeth. How do you know me, Naruto asked. First of all, look at us. What do you think we are? Bunch of morons, Naruto said. As Rayman glared at him. Huh. You think we're morons, but you should know. We're actually gods. What? Naruto said. Yes, you see, we reside in a plane that humans cannot visit. Also, the Shinigami visit here as well. We help stabilize the world, but now the world has fallen into chaos. You're gods, right? Said Naruto. Yes, said Elizabeth. Then go ahead and kill that Light Maker and free the world. That's the thing we can't. We can't actually leave this plane. Only the Shinigami can do that and go to the human world, or if he's been summoned by you humans. I don't know how you got that kind of contract with him though. But we haven't seen him in a long time, so we decided to check up on Earth. We can't do that. And what we saw horrified us. This Light Maker person. It is our fault, she said. If we had checked up on Earth earlier, we could have found out some more information and get the Shinigami to stop you before you reform that key. You guys didn't know, but he had sealed his soul in it. But we would have picked up on that, but we were too late. We tried our best. We tried to use our power up here to affect the earth, but it wouldn't. We're just useless, she said. That's not true, said Rayman. She's right, said Naruto. You're useless if you can't do anything. Now, where am I exactly? You're in the Nova Land, she said. A place where gods reside. If I'm here, can I die? Naruto asked. Oh yeah, she said. So, don't do anything sick. But she was surprised that Naruto created a blade as he started to drive it towards his heart. But Rayman grabbed his arm and smacked away the blade. What the hell are you doing? Rayman asked. I had enough, Naruto said with tears from his eyes. I had enough. Just let me die. Just let me die. Fool, if you die right now, your soul will go right to the Light Maker. What? Said Naruto. When people die, the Shinigami is the one who passed them over. But the Light Maker has taken the Shinigami. And now, he get all the souls. So when you die, you're going right to him and he's going to torture you even more. He might even bring you back. He has the power to control life and death. So I don't think that would be wise. As Naruto chuckled, perfect. That's just goddamn perfect, he said. Don't worry, Uzumaki. Fuheng Namikaze, whatever your name is, said Elizabeth. Because we can make you strong enough to fight him. What? Said Naruto. Are you going to tell me something like you're going to give me your power? Oh no, we can't do that. But we have a way for you to get strong enough to fight him. And what is that? Naruto asked. Different multiverse, they said. What do you mean? Naruto asked. Well, did you know that there are different copies of you out there in the world? Different copies? Yes. Like a world where you're completely bad. Where you're completely dark. A world where you're good. You're the most powerful person in the village. And you protect it with all your might. We have a way for you to visit these worlds. As well as other worlds. There is a multiverse out there with fighters that recently just competed in a tournament. They called it Tournament of Power. These guys are strong. I mean really strong. One of them had a weird shape here. It's like spiky and round at one center. I believe his name was Kakarot or something like that. And you have another world where they're Soul Reapers. And we have found a way for you to contact these worlds. And we know how exactly to make you stronger, said Elizabeth. But guys, in the end episode right here, you guys already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in your social media platform. But for now, I'm out. Peace.